What's up, YouTube? My name is Justin,
My name is Nick.
and this is the Den of Nerds, and we are back talking about Destiny 2. And today we are going to be talking about one of the three weapon types in Destiny 2, the kinetic weapons. Now, Nick, what weapons make up kinetic weapons in Destiny 2?
In Destiny 2, the kinetic weapons are auto rifles, hand cannons, pulse rifles, scout rifles, and then the addition, compared to Destiny 1, of sidearms and SMGs.
Oh man, sidearms and SMGs making up in the primary weapon slot. That's
Yep,
definitely different, adding a
yep.
new level of strategy going ahead and there. Now, these kinetic weapons, they are only dealing basic damage, is that correct? They're not going to be aligned with any sort of specific damage type.
Correct. Kinetic damage, I mean, in Destiny 1, if you looked over on primary weapons, they had a little symbol that said this weapon deals kinetic damage, which is damage that has no element. It just does basic, normal damage, nothing special, just white damage, as I used to call it in Destiny 1.
Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. So these will probably be your go-to regular guns for just any sort of general enemies that you fight. You probably won't really need to switch out of these too much in terms of like patrols and PvE. This is gonna be like your baby, your best friend, sort of how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah, pretty much. And it's going to be the one that you pretty much use most, unless you're in a special occasion. But yeah, this is going to be the one you're going to use for your whole time. As soon as you load the game up, go to a patrol. It's going to be the first thing you see. It's going to be the first thing you shoot, unless you're feeling frisky.
Nice. So you'll definitely want to make sure that these guns are a weapon that you like. Weapon feeling is so incredibly important in Destiny 2, and you'll have people that, they're like, oh, I prefer to use auto rifles. I know I had a lot of people like that. I was partial to scout rifles and hand cannons in Destiny 1. Those are my go-tos. They just felt right. They felt so good to shoot things with. What about you,
Yeah.
Nick? Out of everything we've seen so far, what kinetic weapon are you leaning towards?
Personally, I mean, in Destiny 1, I was Scout Rifle. I used nothing but Scout Rifle. I used Pulse Rifle in PvE, or sorry, PvP, Scout Rifle in PvE. That was just my go-to thing. It was what it felt good to me. Yeah, it was what I used to sit. I mean, this just fit my play style. I love my Scout Rifle. I absolutely love my Scout Rifle. Now with Destiny 2 adding in the new weapons, in terms of sidearm and SMGs, one thing I always used to talk to my friends with, I mean, there was an SMG in a game I used an SMG. I loved my SMGs. Now I haven't played any with in Destiny 2, but I might switch that up to a SMG in the primary slot and then in my special slot something else. But I have to stay on that one.
Yeah, SMGs seem like they will be a very powerful addition to the primary slot, sort of like a mid-range weapon you'll be able to walk in there and spray and pray with. I feel like if I'm playing a Titan, an SMG is going to be a nice solid go-to for me to go to in the primary weapon slot. But on top of
Uh, I would agree with that actually. I really would. I really would. I think SMGs would be very good for Titan. I honestly think SMG is going to fit a hunter more with the hunter's class abilities. But I mean that's again goes to playstyle, which we can talk about at a later time.
awesome, awesome. And we actually had some legendary weapons leak in some of the gameplay and beta stuff that we've seen so far. So we are going to go ahead and be talking about each legendary weapon in the that has been revealed, and we're going to talk about whether their perks are going to be something that makes that weapon tend towards feeling pretty good. Now, a lot of these weapons that have been revealed are sort of maybe for a relatively low level. I'm seeing a lot of these revealed for something around level 14. But Nick, there is a huge change to legendary weapons here in Destiny 2. What is that change?
Uh, well, I mean, there's actually a lot of changes. I feel the biggest change for I can't say this is for all weapons, but I definitely know it's for legendaries. Is that all legendary weapons now will have the exact same perks if you get one and then you get another one, the exact same thing. So we have the hand cannon here called Better Devils. If I get one and you get one, Justin, they're going to be exactly the same. They are going to be exactly the same. The perks on are going to be same. I don't know about stats or anything. They didn't say anything about that, but perks will always be the same no matter how many times you get that weapon. It will be the same perks.
Ah, that's so great. I would always hate it in Destiny 1 when I ended up finding a legendary weapon and I was super excited to get it, but then it turned out its perks were garbage, so I either had to re-roll it or I had to just break it down because I couldn't find a use for it. So it's really good
Yes,
that if I
yes.
get a legendary weapon that I like, that I'll be able to just stick with it and keep using it, and if it's not better relative to another hand cannon, that's no big deal. It's just the fact that I won't be a slave to RNG for my weapon type. But you just
Yeah.
said there was a hand cannon announced. Better Devils. I'm looking at it right now. It's got some awesome little flavor text here. Angels can't help you here. And this hand cannon has an ability where its bullets create an AoE explosion on impact. What does that mean? How does that affect a hand
Um,
cannon?
that perk actually was one that's coming back from Destiny 1. In Destiny 1 it was called Explosive Rounds. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. Destiny 2, it might be the exact same name, but I feel like Bungie's gonna switch it up a little bit. No, um, in Destiny 1, that perk created an area of effect. It was like a little flame almost that it covered your enemy's screen a little bit, like not a big cover, but a little one, and it was good for PvE, in my opinion, for it deals extra damage to the guys you shoot. So if you're shooting a guy that needed that little bit of extra chip to get him out of cover, you can shoot the ground next to him and get the enemy out of the cover. And then in PvP, again, when the object hit the player in the face, they covered their screen with a little bit of flame. So it's a very very good perk, and I think that on a hand cannon is one of the better perks for a hand cannon in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely, especially considering it's a weapon where you are so all about shooting your opponent in the head, aiming for their head, more so than
Yeah,
anything else since you only got that one shot you got to deal with. Speaking
yeah.
of weapons that are all about shooting your opponent in the head, there's also a scout rifle we got here called Does Not Compute. Flavor text here, the engineers aren't ready for us, whatever that means. And this scout rifle gives you increased movement speed while aiming. Now, as we all know in Destiny, normally when you're holding up a weapon and aiming down the iron sights, the your movement is slowed because you're trying to sort of get that up. So how much do you think increased movement speed is going to affect a scout rifle where you're trying to aim for the opponent's head? Because
I mean,
I don't know if this seems like a very good perk for a scout rifle.
it actually for this one in general, I'd say it kind of is. I mean, with the first perk on it saying high impact of long range, slow firing rate with high damage. I mean, those you really didn't need to worry too much about movement speed because it was normally a 2 to 3 shot in the head with that kind of scout rifle, with the highest impact scout rifle. Because, like I said, I use scout rifles. I used them all. Me personally, I think the increased movement speed on this kind of one is a little bit of a lackluster perk because, like I said, if you're far enough back, the enemies probably aren't going to be hitting you, and you're not going to be too, oh my God, I need to move. This is maybe more of a one. It's like, okay, I'm exactly where I need to be, and you guys are going to die. Now, on another, say, scout rifle with either faster fire rate, where it'd be less damage, you need to be a little closer. I would say that'd be a great perk. But
Oh, okay.
until we actually have the guns, we're not going to know. I mean, it's about what feels good for you. So I mean, you could like that increased movement speed while aiming. Just depends on your how you feel.
All right, and next we got here an auto rifle called Scathlock. This weapon was forged by Devrim K the Eighth for the survivors. It's an adaptive weapon, pretty well rounded, reliable, and sturdy. And this auto rifle gives you increased accuracy with the last few bullets in your magazine. And I gotta say, as somebody who uses auto rifles to the point where I just fire until my clip is empty, that seems like a very good perk.
Yeah, yeah. That's a little bit of a. I want to say that's a similar perk. I don't know if it's the exact same one, but it's a very similar perk to was in Destiny 1. It was uh honestly, the name is escaping right now, but the longer you held down the trigger, the better your stability was. Where this one, it's your stability and accuracy, and accuracy, I definitely feel like is something that really wasn't touched on in Destiny 1. It was more of stability, and your accuracy was okay, this is where I'm shooting, this is where it's going to go, kind of thing. And I really think that the perk is going to be really good. Now, when it says the magazine gets low, it's going to depend on how low that magazine has to get to for that perk to kick in. If it doesn't kick in till the last, like you said, last couple of bullets, I think that perk is honestly a little bit of a waste on something with such a high magazine. Now, if it kicks in halfway through the magazine with the RPMs that that gun has, I think that's definitely going to be a good perk on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Halfway through, or even maybe 25% of the clip would be just fine for that. Just fine.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're going to get to the final weapon we have available here is a pulse rifle known as Nightshade. 3 drops is all it takes. It's a lightweight weapon that you can move faster with, and it is a weapon that reinforces a terrible habit that I have in PvP, where I constantly reload after killing people. That has led me to losing so many firefights. Now, with this weapon, reloading after a kill grants increased damage to further reinforce my bad habits. What do you think, Nick?
I personally love that perk. I mean, it was on. I think it was called Reactive Reload, I believe, and it was on the original sidearm that came out back in House of Wolves, Vestian Dynasty, and I love that perk. I mean, I made so many Guardians cry from using Reactive Reload with Vestian Dynasty. I mean, it's a great perk. Any weapon is a great perk, especially pulse rifles. I mean, with them get a triple headshot, that's triple increased damage, and then you got increased damage more from the perk. And pulse rifles, like I said, I use those in PvE or sorry PvP a lot, and I mean it's an all-around good perk, and especially the lightweight thing when you move faster with this weapon. I mean, you can be zipping around the map, popping someone from here. They run around the corner, you can chase them, get them, kill them. Then someone coming after you while you have that increased movement speed, and then you have that increased damage. I think that's going to be a really, really, really good perk, really good weapon. If they stay the same from, I mean, to the final game, to the beta that we have.
Awesome. It's good to know that my bad habits will actually have a benefit for them with a perk like that.
Yes, it definitely will.
Those are legendary weapons we've got to look for. That list came from PCGamesN.com. Go ahead and head there if you want to, check out the list and see the stats for some of these weapons yourselves. That is going to be our look at the kinetic weapons so far. There are unfortunately some legendary weapons for other weapons in this category that we didn't get a look at, but more's going to pop up down the line, and you should be sure to find a weapon that is going to definitely fit your playstyle in Destiny 2, whatever it is. That's us from the Den of Nerds looking at Destiny 2's kinetic weapons. I'm Justin,
I'm Nick.
and we'll catch you later.
See you later.